Mwenaju otu kwajanyong bi klenklen no ye afi akpe enyo nyongmai enyo ke ekpamli na shemo ni shanene wobwana wokeba hanye shemo ne keji ote Facebook ke YouTube banya kwa ye Mbn 360 minaja modote shida no babu te sajam lenye ha wokwa otiye ni he shemo ekome Mayi nyelo mahama ewie keshi emambi tutu amozi South Africa ne keshi se ake ejise balamo ke ha Africa ekome femo bon ye shika ke jara yeli sajamlie menfio akumi bi na ke nome afọ wallet to bank transfer levy loto nokra ni ye manse sajamli hwe chuchu mayi nyelo imbeki ewie ake South Africa nichumomi na bae eje boy ni ebatu ameyejeme. Sajene meke ikuku mei ahejino nyebanu Mbn Adafitwaa Agbene sajene di nchemi butimone. Mahie nyelo John Dramani Mahama ewie jogban keshi tutu amusaje ni yano ye South Africa ni esusu ame ake se gbalamo ke ha Africa ni namo ke ha ikome femo chakpa ke shire mokomi Yeri momlin ye town hall meeting alo hinabo amoko shishin ye London agbena nyon agbe mahie nyelo je na agbakpo ke nkotutu amoke ni seni anini ake fioga na bi ke Africa bi ikome ninu eha ayawele Ghana bi fi ohai eten kekuse kebashia eko onwe mahie nyelo wi ake Africa wose damo ekome femo keshramo no mo fe mlingbala mo ke ni aminjemo ni wi ake Africa mankobe ni banye eya ehie jugban bi amini eke majini benkele na shramo kechakpa esa ewie ke ko gbena ni African Continental Free Trade Area yo keji ebale men ke men shramo yani chumo ke drayeli mi biani echao ke hani Africa majin akai adamoshi ye hishi formling ke ha ekome femo ke ya lo shirimo.
Recently we've always pushed for African unity, and so it's sad to see some of the things that are happening on the continent. There's no way that any African country can achieve the kind of progress that it needs without working with other countries. We cannot achieve it in isolation. And that is why we passed the African Continental Free Trade Area, so that our people can invest in each other's countries, our people can move freely amongst each other's countries. Ghana is actioning this. Recently, we have made visas to our country for all African passport holders free of charge.
Mahie nyelo John Dramani Mahama HI5 ake mefe ni he ebasane ye shikai anokwa mumli ye Auditor General Report alo ni amlingbele mumli fe babuhi akonta ni ewoshi ake meni baye fo abaye shikai ya medin keje na kae abawo amemong lo pabu Yeke mabi ariomomli ye United Kingdom yehogba agbena nyon agbe mahie nyelo Mahama je na agbakpo kenkonyomoi ni akai abo ni jekpo ye Auditor General Report lo ni amlingbele moe amli ni susunu ake no ni mingbe maashin efele fang ake da be ni amlingbele mone je gbajomo ni ete no keche ye maashika hiemo kenokwemo ka konta abomlim ejelekpo ake da afie Annual Auditor General Report lo ni amlingbele mo ake Ghana emonyomo sidie billion nyomake enyo kecho shika no kwemo kenibi koko men ano enehi won eke Chief Justice eto Audit Court shishin maye nyelo chomli ake Audit Court short ni ato shishine Damoshin ke hana ni fan wulu ke kweni tomoi ni yo audit lo ni amlingbele mo mlie aka ho efolu ni akwemlin keji eshi mlawo pe here ikeshi say ake many your audit report say mlie a young public accounts committee pe she aka mebaya kojomo here bona fe ni asheshikai necho ameno ke laje no mahie nyelo Mahama wi ake attorney general ke Auditor General fe Bachuning Cafe Sanjini Baje Auditem Keba Kehani Ahe Ma Shikai Ni Elaje Efele Fang Ake Attorney General Ke Auditor General Bamo Mome Ni Ma Shika Ebaji Amedeye na meka me aya damone ke kojomo short ine ahi kebi nyomoe alo keje na kae aka me baya nsawam na me ajo amehi fio ye jeme. Mancheke ha ashaiman ni anang ajo ewie ke konyese na etwin kumo ni anoye ashaiman traffic light akuchuehi ne fele fang ake yinto ni akekumoji ke ha gbegbamo ya no potenhi wo ni ashishipon afushi yejeme. Trinkumo ya ni na ajira yilo ike ni hon loi achu keshapoi ekome ni plumbing materials, generators, provisions ke electrical appliances eyimni ubon ni banye ashe CDM million babao ke ise igbalamni ake shikpo ni kashiye jeme GPRT kuwe no ni momo shi semliye tema development company ni GTDC ke hame ni eheshiye jeme biane eteneri ake jeme akuchwe di nche eji heni ashi afoshi ke ha jira yelihe shije me ni yo jeme biane anoni ike fatai ake nichumone fata modembo ke bacha ke jeme kefe choji mahe ke jira yelihe ke hani enye echaki akuchwe shikamokra.
The demolition exercise is based on documents submitted to the Municipal Assembly. The GPRT have submitted their drawings for permitting. And per the assembly system, if somebody submitted drawing for development, it's the duty of the assembly to pave way for such development. So when the assembly assess the situation, it sees that without the demolition, GPRT cannot develop. That is why the chief executive have taken the initiative to do the demonstration, the development, so that the GPRT can go ahead to do their car park project. So the demolition is based on ownership. GPRT own the place since 1984. So you can go to the GPRT office, get their document from TDC showing that they truly owned it from 1984. And then the peaceful settlers came back 2009 to own the same property. Well, that's where the mistake is. The same property that the GPRT owned 1984, the same property, peaceful settlers also own the same property 2009. So one way or the other, TDC have done double application. 2.24 acre, GPRT own 1 acre out of it. Meanwhile, the 2.24 acre, there's two land that TDC says the land is a true land. We are not part of peaceful settlers allocation. We don't know anything about it. So that place in question, they don't have land there. But with the two, we don't know them. Because there's no way you can go any part of Accra to go and say that I'm a peaceful settler. So I've come here to settle in your land in peace. Without seeing any chief, any traditional ruler, no family head, then you go and settle with your items, then you live there. It never happened anywhere. So we are telling the public, the peaceful settlers have not come officially to a shaman or Tama Traditional Council that they want to do business on our land. Apart from that, the cost of demolition is due because that enclave is earmarked as a commercial area. And Ashama will need such development where we can change the face of Ashama. Ashama is of age. Therefore, we need to bring better things to our community.
Mlawo kwehe sanjamliye me feel mlawo kwehe ewie ake amehe chake mo New York Laws 9 ke ha Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025 ni afochemo ake anti-LGBTQ+ bill amewom. Chake mo Mbn Adafitwaa Monica meni wo mene angano alo na danloi ke ha neke mene esa ebi koni Mbn Adafitwaa Ii Adafitwaa Nuchumo he kejemni keji aleno ametra adafike ko LGBTQ saji aye ye amenichumo be amni keme alo datre foi liko ne keme ne ye hilachamo he kenga womni ye ni fe mlie lawo pe he no ke ha Ascent South ke sponsor ke ha bill Reverend John Intim Fojo ke agbenem lawo pe he no ke ha Busumifreho Nana Asafo Eje Aye Ewie Ake Chake Moini Atawo Ne Mincho Ake Chuchube Ni Akete Ke Ha Mayen Yellow Neke Nini Awushishin Bet Jogbang.
The new bill we wanted Akufo-Addo to pass is now exempting all these people under this clause, including NGOs, including academic publications and for science and medical opinions, Mr. Speaker, including the report of news and current affairs by the media house or journalists in other courses of the journalism. Mr. Speaker, the point we are making here is that if you even see the proposal and the footnote, it said the rationale is to create an exemption for these categories of activity that may otherwise impugn under Section 2. Mr. Speaker, this is just watering down the point that you wanted the Akufo-Addo to sign in 2028, for which reason people had issues. So today it is clear, Mr. Speaker, today it is clear that you are exempting all these people under this bill, which is not the same bill you asked the Akufo-Addo to sign.
The provision of medical, surgical, psychological, or counseling services in accordance with accepted professional practice, which exemption was not part of the bill you wanted Akufo-Addo to sign. And F, the reporting of news or current affairs by a media house or a journalist in the ordinary course of journalism, and the performance of a public health functions, including HIV and AIDS prevention, testing, treatment, and care, which same testament was given by the Ghana AIDS Commission before the full glare of this country in our live telecast that they provide condoms, lubricants, and other aids for persons living with HIV who are known LGBT members, so that they will go about their absurd sexual experiences. And yet this government wants to make assumption under this law. That is not the law we sponsored in the 8th Parliament. That is not the law we are sponsoring today. If the government is minded to pass their own law of a sort, which will grant all these exemptions, the very places we are trying to clamp down on, that can be a separate law. But so long as the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill is concerned, these exceptions are alien. These are not the exceptions in the Ugandan bill that was passed. These are not the exceptions in the Senegalese bill that was passed. These are not the exemptions granted in any of the countries that we are going to host next week, who have passed these laws and whom we are proud to host them in this very chamber. We are planning to host them. When they pass their bill, they didn't give any of these exceptions, because that is where the real problem is. These are the people sponsoring, supporting, making these activities rather attractive behind the scenes and even sometimes overtly. And so if I find it highly problematic, any attempt by this House to push any of these exceptions in, we will resist it. And if the House will use their majority numbers to push it through, I, as a sponsor, will advise myself accordingly.
Very well. You are entitled to advise yourself. Yes, majority leader.
Obafo weke wakun wose share mo ikoko meni e share woke ba cha no hani.
Let me introduce you to Farm Global Company Limited. At Farm Global, we offer you a variety of groceries and provisions to choose from. Cosmetics, perfumes, bedsheets, undies, boxes, you can mention all. This is our perfume stand. and we have variety of perfumes you can choose from for yourself and your loved ones. We cover Latapa, fragrance world, and quality perfumes that will last long on your body. On our cosmetic section, we have variety of lotions, creams, hair pomade that can keep you going. Let your feet do the talking and your hand do the showcasing. Your babies are not left out. We got you covered. At Farm Global, we make shopping a beautiful experience for you and your family. You can be at home, send your list, and get it delivered for free. Yes, for free. We know you can pay for it, but we want to show appreciation. We bring everything to you at your doorstep. Locate Farm Global on the Nungwabuade Road, just opposite Redeemer Chemist. Call us on 0592 0999 52 or 050 384 3633. Farm Global, fast, reliable, and convenient.
Chejemla wokpe waka wanye bachon NPP Masdanata Omokuwe NPP Masdanata Omoku efoni ne keche European Union ku ke ha Ghana ni amejigbe amekwendi bi na amesusuo ake adesan anachi ye Ghana name ya Mbn Adafitwaa Ii ariemomli face ni hina aboamo alo pe ye eba na agbe ye ameke European Union ambassador ke ha Ghana tenye National Organizer ke ha NPP Masdanata Omokuwe Henry Nanabuachi rie ake amralo eminchomo mansomo ni chumo hei ano ni ameminchimo mei anani amekanye amerie keshi amralo na ameminwo Masdanata Omokui koko mei ayigbe yihu esa esusu sane ake mansomo ni chumo hei ayiwalewo ke kojomo hei kuife keminshi mei ni ruo amralo hisani NPP Masdanata Omokuwe riake no na emi yanwe ni efe na agba ni amechono hewon ni ameke EU ambassador ya na shramo.
We are sending this strong signal to the government that we are not going to succumb to this creeping culture of silence. Criminal libel law was repealed years ago. This attempt by this government to reintroduce criminal libel law, which then sought to criminalize free speech. Now, how they arrest you and then is even alarming. Look at the case of David Asando, who was just arrested in Agonas Wedro by some 10 armed men with sophisticated weapons. They drove all the way to Accra. He was caged somewhere. The family didn't know, party leaders didn't know until the following day about 5 p.m. or so. Look at this young lady who was arrested all the way in Kumau and he was brought to Accra. Why? Because allegedly she has insulted the president.
Dole wo no yem la wokpe here beni mepi anadalo lo majority leader Mahama Yariga Riekeshi menfio anadalo Alexander Afenyumakin bimli ni agba kada ye anti LGBTQ+ bill he ekemamo he ake efe ni ntamo gbekeni icho ngole shi amralo sajintamo eneme bikebi anifi monu.
Mr. Speaker, I think that the minority leader has to pay attention.
Don't try to deceive me.
Minority leader has to pay attention.
To which one?
Minority leader. Minority leader. Minority leader. Mr. Speaker, you cannot be behaving like a spoiled child.
You cannot be behaving like a spoiled child. Just come into the chamber and start throwing your hands left and right. You can't do that. You think that by this way you'll be able to create a scene nationally and say that there's an attempt to water down the bill. This kind of politics is childish. This kind of politics is childish. No, this kind of politics is childish. We've gone beyond it. Ghanaians can see through your politics. Mr. Speaker, you have brought a bill that you say subject to the Constitution. Which Constitution? That's what the bill says. The bill signed by Ntim Forjo. This bill signed by Ntim Forjo says subject to the Constitution. A person shall not procure. Then he goes to clause 10 and says subject to the Constitution. So what Speaker is saying is that you yourself, you changed the bill and brought it back to this House. So, Mr. Speaker, let's take a decision on E and then continue. Yes, we will go so that you yourself.
Yamla okpe Sajamli no Mepi anada lo yamla okpe hello majority leader Mahama Ayariga Egbalamli ake chake moini eba Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025 ni je ni ashishichomo ni omen to egbalamokome ni AJM ni efele fang ake ato chake moine gbejano bona fe ni Nichumoku ike amenichumoi alo professional services ke routine activities akaya na agba ne abale ake amemiwa ke wo LGBT+ ni fe moi ahiwale echomning ake ni ashishi chomo ke ni amning belamo mintao ajie ni anshinumo ni meina yemlamni yejame ke ha shishinumo pefe aba Beimlini no poten hiwoni ato nekemla shishin adamoshi eko lo adamoshi jogbang kada agbamo fata riemo ni ya no yemla wo pe kenko bill kemlai amlingbala mohi
Media raise strong issues because they think that we are violating the right to free expression. Professionals such as lawyers raise strong issues that we are violating their professional freedom and violating the rights of people to legal services. Then academics, universities. I was on the committee, you remember, the previous parliament. And these civil society groups made a very strong case. So what the committee is trying to do is to narrowly set out those exceptions where when you speak, you will not be considered as promoting or supporting LGBT.
Kyawancha shemwe anomla okpe henyo ke ha Okankwe Central Patrick Boama minche ke ha ni mansolo ni kwa oshian ke nuchumo isajin ano ebamla okpe he ke nkonu gbone momli na agba ni ya no yegane ke Cape Coast gbejegbe no befe beninu gbobane Yari momli yemla okpe ewie keko nu ni ekpata men anibi ahiehi keboni men efa keshimo ameshian jenu ni ebote amewo aiwo keboni chojinye acho naka igbejigbe no hu bemli ni ebio ni mansomo he ni ko shikasajano yegana ne aje shika eha contractors ni minchuni ye jama igbejigbe no bona fe ni chumo anye ayano ye esane na aje momli ye me pia na dalo alo majority leader Mahama Ayariga kenu na agbato modern ni amraloi ni eba kete ebo ake amekechuma mo mlai bachuni amewie moye ke na ata moye agbalakada agba moye kenko he ni nchomo alo drainage systems chuma mo alo urban development ke saninata mo ke ha nugbonemo na agbai ke bolima.
If you look at pictures and videos from the western part of Accra, especially where Honorable Ayariga drives through to Winneba and to Cape Coast, the whole area was submerged yesterday, and it will be very important for us to hear from the Works and Housing Minister on steps that government is taking to get this the drainage system the Wager Dam, which was open and people are just homeless in Accra. It's very important that government, through the Minister for Works and Housing, is summoned by your good self to tell the good people of this country what steps government is taking to assuage their plight. I thank you very much. So, Majority Leader, you're always on that road.
Can you give
Ricketts, that's Ricketts route to Cape Coast, and you are sitting, you are not talking. Apam, all that route. The rains, people couldn't drive to Cape Coast. A friend of mine left Accra at 12 p.m., got to Takoradi at 10 p.m. It's not a good thing to toy about with.
We tend to have these floods, and the minister usually comes to apprise us of what the situation looks like. It won't be bad for the minister to come and apprise us. So we'll follow up with the minister, and based on his availability, I believe he will be able to come and then apprise us of the developments in that regard. But I know that, it is not just about the Minister of Finance disbursing funds. It's also the failure over many years to enforce all the codes that, this Parliament has passed relating to how we plan our cities, where we develop and where we don't develop, how we make sure that the waterways are protected so that when we have heavy downpours, there will not be obstruction to the waterways, and then there will be flooding. These are all matters that those of us who are in this house have primary responsibility for.
Wabada moshe moneno kefu weke wakunwose na dede ke shika ke jaili sanje baba hanye. Shida play jono ake okeweye biye Mbn Adafitwaa Ii. Nono makabaje shishi kegbina ye shika ke jwaili sanjam niye mefio ni yomla opeye minche ke hani Ghana shika to he wulu eke no me afọ wallet to bank transfer levy loto no ke yashimla opeye bahe awomni. Nona nye famoni je Ghana shikato he wululo Bank of Ghana den ake amekenome efon 0.75% levy aloto ni ka wallet to bank transfers ni mobile money fintech limited bi ono se ake ni nibimo ke wiemo eyakole jugba hiwo ye ke Adafitwaa Ii asanigba amliye mefio anadalo alo minority leader Alexander Afenyoma kinwe ake amralo ehe ye noni eyi tamo enemli ake amebangme mobile money fintech limited be na meto noko tamo nekeshishi mefio akuwe ke saketo lo levy fair levy ni babaka shikano ya nanu gbajadra yeli mniye achomla wo pe he no ni amehe amewomli dani akebo ni chumo.
The Bank of Ghana must permanently prohibit any wallet to bank or bank to wallet charge equivalent to a transaction levy unless authorized by an act of parliament. 2. The Attorney General must issue a formal opinion on the constitutionality of imposing levy equivalent charges through fintech operators to bypass Parliament, to bypass Article 174, and this opinion must be part of the proceedings of Parliament through a ministerial statement by the Attorney General for Parliament to debate same. 3. The Finance Minister must appear before Parliament to explain the decisions behind MMFL's announcement and confirm whether the executive knew of or encouraged it. Of course, I doubt if the minister will come and tell us the executive did not know about this. And finally, the government must eat a humble pie by apologizing to Ghanaians, the very people it promised, for breaking a solemn electoral promise.
Obafo wen ke okubo se obaya manse ni wa yakono ni eti no ejimi. Nani wakabaji shishi kegbina ye manse sanjam liye chuchu South African man nye lota bombeki miwo South African bi anga ni amecho amehie kefo no poten ke na agba eba mano ke shomoni ameke ha African bi boy ni yo jeme ake amehiwo ni nuchumo be.
Yewe momlin ye Thabo Mbeki Foundation ke AUDA Nepad Business Breakfast ni fe moshishin Mbeki ri ake mambi anagbai kenkoshin lemlin wale fe jinoni ameke sure boy ano yemlin ake esusu none ake udase fang noni chon ake jere boy ayewo ni South Africa gbejano to efite alo mamlin iwa erie mo eba ke fata kada agbamohi kenko gbefan ke shin lehi ke nibi amlin ni boy chomo ye South Africa kenye tensitra ke Ghana bi fi ohai ete ni ekpale ke bagana ekonwese Mbeki manomi ake Bemli ni South Africa chomo na agba ikome amli ni unemployment schedule sajin ete wen fenine gbefalo emung eba chomo eshafelo ye amehie ye noko ni amele he ko ekeshise ake boy ni je Africa ni be wojin ye jeme aka chomo me fonjin ke ha ni chumo ni be mamli ehiwo kaji ekai he ni South Africa na agba ejishishikeje Mbeki rie ake ma ha omo ejishishikra dani gbefa sajin ba fe na agba echomlin ake aji ehie kedremo keje me potemo ni sani ake hie afon ke ha ma shigbe mo no eke noko meni marieji ake Africa bi short to ba kan he aba South Africa ni eko he no ni nye ba fe eteneri ake bolo mo kemi wo gbo emon efe noko ejake je ameji nye na agba ni me ni ji nye na agba mo ntara he ko ni amemi mo ni nyemi fe me ko ko me mo ni bi ni esa
Mebi eni wakehye mo eba wa shi dani wo baya nye ha wokwa otiye ekun.
Mayi nyelo mahama ewie keshi emambi tutu amoye South Africa ni keshi se ake ejise balamo ke ha Africa ekomi fe momo. Ye shika ke jara yeli sajamlie menfiu aku mimbi na ke nome afọ wallet to bank transfer levy loto nokra. Ni ye manse sajamli hwe chuchu mahi nyelo Mbeki ewie ake South Africa ni chumomi na agbae eje gboyi ni ebatu ameye jeme.
Meni kehye mo ebanye gbinoji na aja modo teke na adidi keche ofefe dwumo wo ba pisho neke biam nyenwala donke wokron.